distribution margins are super thin. If you're not managing those margins on every order, on every line item, you're likely not going to be in business very long or be able to scale your business to a place where you want it to be.
Hey, welcome to the Turnkey 365 podcast. I have with me Bob McAdam from Cavallo today, and I love this topic. I love this topic because Bob and I are both going to geek out over Dynamics GP and long-term support. We love the on-prem model. We know the way the direction of the business is going, but we have committed to GP for the long term, and so is Cavallo. So, Bob, welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate the opportunity to come on today.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Through the magic of the interwebs here, we can, connect from, across the country. I love it. So you have committed to GP for the long term. Tell me, what's the history and what has got you thinking that that's where you need to be?
Okay, well, this month, September 2023, Cavallo is celebrating 20 years as a company. Cavallo is the company formerly known as SalesPad. Right. I came on in February 21. So the company was still SalesPad. We rebranded in 2021, the summer of 21. So same owner, same executive team, right? No changes there, but we wanted a new name to grow into so we could get into other ecosystems. But SalesPad by Cavallo has been around for 20 years. The owner owned a distribution business in West Michigan, where the company's headquarters is, ran it on Dynamics GP. And honestly, he didn't like having to go to the transactions menu or the inquiry menu or the cards menu to find sales or procurement or inventory. He wanted something laid out in one place so that he and his sales reps and his customer service folks could be in one place, be on the phone with a customer and find what they needed and manage the business quickly and get orders out the door properly. And it wasn't available in Dynamics GP out of the box. There wasn't an ISV for it back then. So he hired a developer and they created what was in Pete's mind into what is now known as SalesPad. And Pete's always beat the drum on, got to check margins. Things going out the door have to meet a margin threshold or we're not going to be in business long. We shouldn't be selling inventory to customers who owe us money. Salespeople should not be stealing other people's opportunities away. So all those little things got put into workflow and desktop and things of that nature. And the company was born. And he's been using it at his distribution business. And we have 700 or 800 customers creating hundreds of millions of dollars of value in their distribution business because Pete had a vision that Dynamics GP, which was a great ERP foundation, could be better for distributors and have all the tools that they need to leverage the opportunities in front of them, leverage the technology, and compete better and scale their business. So it's an exciting story, and it's hard to believe it's been 20 years, really, but it has been. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, and we're entering our 30th year here. This is our 30th year jubilee, and so
Can
appreciate that for sure. That's
wow.
We're old timers as a company as well, and I'm sure it comes from some of the same places. But you told me about a little story in prep about the original workflow and moving papers from clipboard to clipboard.
Yeah,
tell me about that. Where this came from?
Okay, so the original SalesPad name, which is now a product name, right? Cavallo is the company name, and SalesPad is our offerings for Dynamics GP. Pete, our owner, Pete Erdley, had clipboards hanging on his office and he had papers underneath each one, obviously, and he would physically move orders down the line across the clipboards as his workflow so he could keep track of where a document was in the process. And of course, over time, that became our secret sauce, the workflow that manages a process or processes and documents in Dynamics GP within a distribution business. And that's where it came from. So those old habits turned into wonderful technology and gave us a company name that lasted almost 20 years.
Yeah, and what you described to me, it sounds like the origins of the Kanban, right? The Kanban management method.
Yes.
Right? It's move everything through the process so that we can see it visually and kind of get a feel for where it is in real time, instantly. And
Yep.
That's
exactly.
So
that's exactly
it makes sense, and that's Yeah, and that's all over software nowadays, but it's nothing more
Right.
than a workflow, as you said.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
So very cool. So why the long-term commitment to GP?
Okay, so the reason for that is really coming from our customers, right? We
Hmm.
have 800 customers, and they have come to us. A high percentage of them, not all, but a
Hmm.
high percentage, a high majority have said, we're not interested in moving off of Dynamics GP and SalesPad because we like what we have. Our employees are trained, the processes are in place that we need. We've spent the time and money on infrastructure and licenses and training and uh, customizations and whatnot. And we like where we're at, and we're scaling our business with these offerings, and we don't want to leave. Um, a lot of companies, a lot of our customers bought Dynamics GP because of what SalesPad offered in the deep operational module area that they needed. So now
Hmm.
they have what they want, a complete omni-channel solution, and they just don't want to go anywhere. There's a lot of pressure on these customers, large and small, to move to a cloud solution. And a lot of them are hesitant because they put so much blood, sweat, and tears into their ERP on-premises solution with Dynamics GP and Cavallo SalesPad that they are somewhat hesitant to try and undig all that and place it someplace else and have it be productive and no downtime and get the same level of results. It's a heavy lift, Chuck. It
It
really
is.
is a heavy lift.
Yeah, and we've heard the exact same thing. That's why we've announced our long-term support for Dynamics GP as well.
Right.
And for existing customers, support for GP is not gone. It's not just magically been deprecated
Right.
and done. Microsoft is committed to updates for quite some time for
Yes.
existing customers. It's
That's right.
so
That's a
that's not
key
really a
phrase right
problem.
there. For existing customers,
Hmm.
things move on as is. If you're a
Hmm.
prospective customer, okay, you got basically 2.5 years to make up your mind. But for
Yep.
existing customers, like you just said, that's a key piece.
Hmm.
Development and support will continue.
Yeah, and in terms of we are getting hammered. We're getting hammered from all sides.
Yes.
Move to the cloud, move to the cloud, move to the cloud,
Yep.
move to the cloud. And
Right.
true, that's where the future's going. There's
Hmm.
no doubt about it.
Agreed.
But to rush is likely to cost you more money if you're not ready for it. And it's best to consider a move while still growing your business, in with tools that work for today.
Right.
Because if you're just going to make the leap and spend potentially a big sum of money and not gain something for it,
Hmm.
then all
Right.
you're doing, then there's going to be very little return on investment, and the time to value clearly in the long run will be there, but it'll take much longer for your time to value to be realized.
Right.
And so it's not the kind of thing to be rushed. It should be weighed carefully. And when you're ready, go for it. As soon as you have a need, go
Hmm.
for it. But there's still a lot of legs left to grow your business with the tools you have.
You're exactly right. If you've decided to stay on Dynamics GP, which again, a lot of our customers have said they want to do that, then invest in that platform today. Scale your business so that in 5 or 7 or 10 years, when you decide, okay, we are ready for a cloud solution now, we've built up enough capital and grown our business during these investments in the on-prem solution where we're now ready and we can afford to go to the cloud. I mean,
Hmm.
Cavallo has rolled out really robust offerings for Business Central. I mean, they're really, really good. Our development team is sprinting, and I mean sprinting every day. And these guys and ladies are cranking out amazing code from areas in Cavallo SalesPad that we really excel at. And
Hmm.
we're ready for customers, prospective or current, who want to go to Business Central now or very soon. We're ready for that, and we'll help
Hmm.
them get there. But again, a lot of our customers are content where they're at. They don't know what the future holds with high inflation not going away and interest rates keep going up, and things
Hmm.
are not really great out there. So a lot of them will, just like having gone through the pandemic recently, would like a few years to scale their business, keep certain things static, and then decide when things improve that maybe they'll be ready then. But it's up to the stakeholders, Chuck. You know this as well as I do. We're listening to our customers just like Turnkey's listening to theirs. And if they want to stay on Dynamics GP, we're going to continue to develop it and support it and move forward because we know a high percentage of our customers want just that.
Yeah, and there's an interim step too. So yeah, folks can jump right to the cloud, but there's an interim step with their GP, and that their GP can be migrated from an on-prem server into a virtual server.
Yes.
Okay, and so
Yep.
we can do that as well. And Cavallo supports that with SalesPad. How?
Um, Moving to a private cloud or even Azure is not problematic for our solutions. We have a good partnership with the folks at Ingevity who run Power GP Online, and some of our customers are up there leveraging Power GP Online for their on-premises, but in a private cloud solution. So um, we understand that some people don't want to have to deal with the infrastructure in-house. They want someone else to take care of that. So whether someone wants to stay on-prem or move to a private cloud, we can operate in either scenario. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it's a nice stepping stone. It's a different operational paradigm,
Yes.
clearly with its own unique needs for managing the assets, but
Yep.
it is a great stepping stone where you can begin to get your return on investment and that time to value as you move and migrate in that direction down the
Mm-hmm.
road. If just having people working from a virtual machine in a remote desktop
Yeah,
is that's a learning curve. That's
it
a
is.
training that has to go on, but it's familiar. It's different, but it's familiar, and you can take that baby step.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you can. I mean, once you cut your teeth on RDP and you can work on a gateway server as opposed to directly on the machine you're staring at, it's not a big deal. And quite honestly, for maintenance purposes and IT maintenance, I feel like it's easier anyway. So I'm all about leveraging remote desktop protocol and having fewer machines to worry about and more powerful servers. And it just makes it easier all the way around for a company that wants to keep on-premises software, but at the same time wants to host it someplace.
yeah, and it's well known that the total cost of ownership is definitely decreased as you move into the virtual machines, as opposed to the on-premise servers. And
Yes.
so, who doesn't want that? I
Amen.
mean,
That's
really.
exactly
So,
right.
and it doesn't put the IT people out of a job. They still have quite a bit to do with that. It's just a different operating paradigm.
Yes. Agreed.
So you can't
100%.
just eschew your entire staff. Somebody still has to manage these assets and make sure everything's humming and backed up and updated and blah 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 blah. So
Yeah, you're
there's
right.
so much to do.
So much has changed in the last 10, 20 years. It's amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is a product that essentially you said Cavallo is with SalesPad is the company and distribution for companies using GP.
Right.
Now I've been into some of these places, many of them actually in my day, and I'm still amazed even now. As early as recent as last year, I've been in a company, big sizable 3PL that's running with paper. Blows my mind.
I know.
Absolutely blows my mind.
Agreed.
So um, I can see where there are companies that are in various states of technological sophistication
Mm-hmm.
where they may be using GP and they're unwilling to change, but they may not have, they may not have taken the next step to really
Right.
supercharge their productivity. So how is it that SalesPad is supercharging the productivity?
Well, every aspect of the SalesPad offerings for Dynamics GP covers uh, all areas of a distributor's business, right? Starts with customer and order management, moves into our secret sauce of workflow, managing your inventory, a complete omni-channel set of add-ons for EDI, e-commerce, taxes, credit cards, you know, you name it. We have either written the code ourselves or as part of our solution, or we've partnered with experts in the field, right? Our EDI partner is SPS Commerce. Our credit card partner is Notice. I mean, we've had longstanding relationships in areas that our customers have requested, and we've integrated completely with these customers, and we're working together to provide a complete solution for all of them. So um, with Dynamics GP, you know, it does a great job in a great many things, and it's integration friendly and runs like a top, but it doesn't do everything. And we're trying to fill all those gaps that a distributor would need so that orders can go out right the first time, you know, barcoding and scanning and making sure that workflow runs through the system so that every order goes out exactly the way it's supposed to and that none of our customers are playing Plinko with their orders, right? We all know orders come in and orders go out.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in the middle can often be, especially on a paper system, a big black hole, and nobody really knows what's going on. But our software has developed to manage all of those steps so the distributor can maintain margins, which are thin to begin with, and not sell to people that owe us money, and that sales people can get the proper credit for sales they have procured. So all those little pieces add up to maintain a distribution business. And as our owner, Pete Erdley, has said many times before, distribution margins are super thin. If you're not managing those margins on every order, on every line item, you're likely not going to be in business very long or be able to scale your business to a place where you want it to be.
So let's talk about the workflows at a very, very high level then. So clearly you have customers, okay, that they're the customers, they can have pricing agreements, they can have all kinds of different things. Okay. So we have to be able to manage the customers, and then through to what is the workflow, just kind of at a very, very high level.
All right. So at a very high level, an order comes in, right? You've got to check to make sure customer is set up properly. Customer has proper credit for an order. Order's got to come in. We're going to make sure that it meets all the qualifications for approval. Should it need to, it's going to go to the warehouse and be picked and packed and shipped and all that. And then any other requirements around shipping or logistics are met. The workflow is going to allow you to configure every single step given every scenario that an order could come in with, because some orders are simple. They go right out to the warehouse. Many others have to be split, or they've got back orders, or maybe the total of the order is going to exceed the customer's credit limit, or what have you. So it's going to check anything and everything about an order and a line item as it goes through the process so that it goes out correctly, right? No errors, and it goes out with the proper margin unless it's approved otherwise by someone in the organization with that authority. So again, we have a Plinko board that we keep in the office. You drop the disc in and you don't know where it's going, right? With Cavallo SalesPad, when your order comes in, it's going to go through your business process and you're going to know exactly where it is all the time and that it goes out correctly. We're not going to play Plinko with our customers' orders. We're going to make sure things go through their business correctly because they're going to configure it with our help in many cases, and documents will go through as designed.
And one of the things that interests me greatly in terms of managing those margins is the part in the middle.
Right.
And that is the warehouse operations. So we know that, labor is an issue, whether it be uptimes or bad time, or, uptimes or downtimes, labor is an issue. And we need to be able to make sure that they're being as productive and efficient as possible. One of the biggest ways is through mobility.
Yes.
Okay. And are you able to handle the mobility aspect?
Yes. There is a SalesPad mobile application which can be added on to our offerings. It does not do everything that the desktop does on the PC, of course, but for those customers that need to leverage certain things, look up inventory, make sure an order is going through the process okay, then SalesPad Mobile is available for mobile customers and resources who need that quick on their phone. Yes.
Yeah. So barcode scanning and that sort of thing as well.
Yes.
On Android devices.
Yep. On Android devices. You don't have to go out and buy new equipment. Your existing equipment that you're carrying around is just fine.
And we don't need to worry about Windows CE because that's been deprecated. So that's not a problem at all. Although I still know there's still a couple people hanging onto some devices.
That was not a bad OS, I must say.
It was not a bad OS. But Android is the way nowadays in general. So you were telling me about a success story about a customer in Michigan. So at a high level, again, we'll withhold the names to protect the innocent here.
Gotcha.
But tell me about that.
So we have several customers like this, but one of them, shows up at our annual customer event, which is called Panels. We hold it in August most of the time in Grand Rapids, and this guy is a key person in his IT department where he works. and he has good knowledge of our offerings, licensing, functionality, customization, the works. And he's also very good with infrastructure, like the ownership trusts him to, if he says we need to buy a new server and this is what we're going to do with it, then they grant the expense and he puts it in because their infrastructure is made to scale and is made to handle the increasing number of orders that Cavallo SalesPad on Dynamics GP is running for them. And as they're growing in size and getting really big, they're getting Microsoft's attention. Microsoft would like to see them contemplate a move to Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations, or Finance and Supply Chain Management, or whatever it's being called this week. And they bring in cloud experts who are prepared to take this friend of mine on, this customer of ours, and see how well he does up against their latest cloud technology. And he has this system humming. He and his colleagues have it humming like there's no tomorrow. And it is highly efficient, and they have scaled their business nicely as a result. And he's like, they can send the smartest cloud resources to Michigan that they want. And they're never going to beat what we have deployed with our infrastructure setup and GP with SalesPad. They're never going to beat it. And he's probably right. The on-prem performance is really, really superb. And that's why a lot of our customers want to stay put. They find that on-prem, especially with all the transactional warehouse pieces going through in a distribution business, is better than going through a browser.
And that's in my opinion, that's the wrong customer to chase and try and convert.
Yeah.
We see plenty of people who are on older versions of GP.
Right.
That very older versions of GP,
yes,
where they've let their renewals lapse, their updates lapse, and things are starting to break. For them, it's going to be so expensive to update and then have an inevitable migration anyway. It may make sense to just do the cloud migration.
Yeah. At
to
that
me,
stage, you're right.
Right. And so there's so many of them. And on the Pareto, the Pareto chart, I'm going after them before I'm going after the person who's humming and operating efficiently.
Yeah.
Simply because they're large. That's the salesman driving something. They're big. They're a great target. Well,
right. Exactly.
Your ideal customer profile is the one who's going to get the most value from the change, not the one that you feel good about converting. So you can make, a success story or a commission or whatever it is. It's the wrong motivation. We have to have that relentless view of the customer's perspective. Always, 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 always.
Yeah.
And sometimes to our own detriment, which is
right.
hard for some folks to really digest.
Yeah. Yeah. They are looking solely at the growth that this company is accumulating and saying, oh, wow, you'd be great on our enterprise version instead of SMB, instead of saying, hey, let's go find some of these older versions of whatnot, older equipment that just need a cloud opportunity put in front of them, because some of these companies, have really mastered the infrastructure plus technology combination, and they're going to be really, really, they're looking at this stuff every day, and they're going to be tough to replace. They really are. They are competitive Absolutely. In their industry, and they are competitive with the new cloud technology. They really are.
Mm-hmm. So it speaks for itself in my mind. So when you deploy the solution, you're deploying this on a server?
Yes.
Or is it going on it's going on workstations as well, or what does the architecture look like?
It could be either one. So some of our customers have workstations throughout their office, throughout their organization, and the client is installed there. Or they're using, a lot of them are starting to use RDP, using a gateway server or gateway servers, plural, load balancing and whatnot. I find that to be easier to maintain, right? Instead of having 20 or 30 or 50 workstations, you can have everybody load balanced on a couple gateway servers and maintain the clients easier and quicker that way. But it can work either way. So I think once you cut your teeth on remote desktop, and we certainly all did under the coronavirus work from home scramble, then I feel like you're an expert at that sort of thing, and you may not have. You may not have cloud computing per se, but you certainly have an easier group of machines to manage.
Well, and I asked the question about the architecture because there's companies out there who should be willing to and are willing to invest in their current system to make it more effective
Yes.
for them.
Yeah.
So, and they need to know if they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, any installation of GP is what you can do to make this, to get SalesPad up and running, regardless of kind of what their scenario is.
Yeah.
Is it for me? Yes.
Yes.
You've got GP. We're ready.
Yeah. Yeah, that's we keep beating the drum with our customers. If you're going to stay put, if you decided they're going to stay on Dynamics GP, and we have told our customers we will support them, and we're not the only ISV in the GP space that says this either. But if you're going to stay, we'll support you. Invest in your platform, grow your business, and when you're ready down the road, you'll have the capital and you'll have the sizing. You'll be ready to make a leap because you will have planned accordingly, grown your business, and you'll have better capital, better opportunity to make that leap to the cloud when you're ready. Right? We all know that the GP isn't going to be developed forever, but in the interim, if you're an existing customer, it's going to continue to be. And if you have your ISVs and your partner behind you, there aren't a lot of reasons to change.
And you're not the only ISV who's said this, and we're not the only partner who's claimed long-term support for GP, but it certainly is a shrinking pool.
Sure, it sure is.
And it's important to have companies like yours and companies like ours that are willing to commit for the long term. That way folks have someone upon whom they can rely. Because when you make the commitment, you need people who are committed along with you.
That is correct.
So
we don't want customers we don't want stakeholders making decisions based on misinformation. Let's give them the facts, let them digest the facts, and then they can make decisions in the best interest of their business and their colleagues. It's that simple.
It is that simple. So let's talk about types of businesses for whom this is suited. So distributors.
Yes.
Now there are different types of distributors. Okay, so you can have distribution with POS and a store counter.
Yes.
Yes,
that is correct. We do offer a POS solution. Yes.
Okay, and 3PLs.
3PLs, we are integrated to PaceJet.
Excellent. And but a lot of folks are going into the e-commerce space now,
right?
So how does it work with e-commerce?
So for e-commerce, we have integrations for Shopify and Magento, which is now Adobe, and WooCommerce, and we have relationships with Sana Commerce. So we have, we're not e-commerce experts by any means, but a lot of our customers are asking about that and setting up web pages to sell online or sell through Amazon, or in many cases both. So we've integrated to solutions they're looking for, or in Sana's case, found a good partner that can help any of them because they're fully integrated to Dynamics GP.
Mm-hmm. And so clearly POS is important. So what other types? I mean, there are other integrations people have to be asking for. What would they be?
Yes. Yeah. People have asked for credit card integrations. We provide that with a partner. We have tax integrations with more than one partner. We have EDI integration with a partner. We have tried to fill as many gaps. We're integrated to Wensoft now, another Dynamics GP ISV that has sold a lot of GP because of their deep industry functionality. So we created a connector so our sales and procurement prowess can match up with their construction and service management prowess. And I came on board saying we need to integrate to other GP allies, if you will, because they're in the same boat we are. And a lot of our customers don't want to go anywhere. So if we can create reasons why they want to stay and continue to invest in their platform so they can scale their business when they're ready to jump, then that's worthwhile investment for us. So yeah, we have integrations in all the areas that we don't, we're not experts in, because we're not going to be experts in everything, but we can certainly integrate where we find necessary.
Excellent. All right. So I'm not a distributor. I don't have a counter. I'm not a 3PL. I'm a manufacturer.
Okay.
What do we
We
do?
do handle some light manufacturing. Okay, it's not our biggest customer list. Dynamics GP has a manufacturing module. I don't think Microsoft has touched it in at least 10 or 12 or 15 years. There are several very good third-party ISVs that handle different types of manufacturing, right? So certainly if you are a manufacturer and leveraging Dynamics GP, you certainly know about those solutions or have looked at them. We can handle some light manufacturing. We're not as robust as some of those others that are get into process or discrete manufacturing, but we can handle light manufacturing within our offerings.
And that makes complete sense, because I've seen so many distributors that begin to do value add,
Right.
And that's where you're starting to get into just light assemblies and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, where
Right.
you're configuring and deciding what those options are just prior to ship. And you might be kitting in bags.
Mhm.
You may be bringing all kinds of ancillary materials together,
Yes.
so that to provide that value to them, so that somebody else might be able to go in and assemble that on site, or who knows what their scenario is.
Mhm.
So it's nice to know.
Yeah.
All right, but you're not a one-trick pony.
No way.
It's nice to know, as I said, it's nice to know that both Cavallo and Turnkey are dedicated to Dynamics GP for the long
Yes.
term, but you have more up your sleeve. And why don't you give me a quick 30-second on that, because I really want to save that for the next podcast episode.
Okay. So we obviously it made sense for us to get into the Business Central space. A lot of our existing customers were asking about that. Microsoft is clearly pushing BC for their SMB solution, right? So we've gone into Business Central with our strongest points from our GP solution: customer management, order management, workflow, analytics. So those areas are where we're strongest. We're able to go into the BC space with those solutions. They're very robust, and find, quite honestly, find areas in BC that A, needed some help, and B, there's not a lot of competition, if any, from other ISVs. So we
Yeah.
partner with others for, say, warehouse management, and we have several partners there. So if our customers need that complete solution beyond what we're doing for Business Central, because we're not going to rewrite everything, it's not worth it to do it. We've picked our spots in BC that makes sense for us. We'll partner with all the others and give a complete solution with other ISVs that'll make BC very workable for a distribution business who's ready to go to the cloud.
And I'm looking forward to hearing about the analytics in a podcast episode, all of it, all on
Yes.
its own.
So
So
analytics is in beta for Q4. We've revamped our original analytics. We have a data science team in Seattle coming up with some amazing math heavy stuff specific for distributors. And that's all I can tell you right now. But I'm telling you, Chuck, when you see it with your own eyes, you will be like, wow, this is incredible. We're going to have it ready for GP. We're going to have it ready for BC. And we're going to have it ready for some other things as well come 2024. So look forward to that. It's going to make a big, big splash all on its own, quite frankly.
fantastic. Well, I kind of had a feeling. So when you're ready to break the news, you're ready for the big reveal, you've got an open invitation. You let me know, and I want to show the folks the big reveal.
All right. Well, thank you. I will keep that in mind, because I will want to talk about our new analytics solution sooner than later. As soon as they let me say something, you'll hear about it a lot, and I'll be sure that you know about it.
Fantastic. Well, Bob, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for your time. I've learned a lot. I believe in Cavallo, and I believe in your commitment as much as I believe in ours. And I think that the folks are truly going to appreciate folks like us being around for them for the long term.
Yeah, I
Thank you so
certainly hope
much.
so. Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate the time today.
Thanks. Cheers.